In this exercise tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through how to do a straight leg raise to work your abdominals. Now, firstly, what you'll notice here is I've got a mat and I've also got a cushion here. The cushion is great for those that are beginners, those that maybe are susceptible to neck pain. It makes the exercise slightly easier, but it also takes off the tension in places you don't want to feel, for example, tension of the neck. So it's optional, you don't have to use it. Now, with regards to the straight leg raise, there's a couple of different variations you can do. So I'm going to show you the exercise, and if you can't do it, I'll show you a couple of regressions, a couple of ways to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to come onto my back. I've got my head on the pillow, and I'm going to bring my legs completely straight. Now, my hands can be to my sides, they could be in a T position, whatever you find is the most comfortable for you, so neither's right or wrong. Now, from this position, you will be limited if, like me, you have tight hamstrings, which will mean when you come up, the legs won't be able to stay completely locked out at the knee, but you're trying to lock them out as much as possible. So it doesn't matter if you bend the knees slightly when you come up. What matters is that when you're coming down or when you're coming up, you're trying to keep them as straight as possible for you. So what that looks like is I'm going to brace my core, really squeeze, make sure my lower back is plastered to the mat. And then from here, once I feel that connection with the lower back on the mat, both feet come up at the same time and slowly back down. As I'm coming back down, I'm trying to control the range of motion. I'm not just trying to let gravity take me down. So brace the core, both legs up at the same time as high as you can, slowly back down. Try and keep the knees as straight as possible. Now, if you're doing that and you find that the lower back is coming up off the floor, you'll see a lot of people place the hands underneath their glutes, underneath their bum. Now, what that does is it tilts the pelvis, it makes it slightly easier. So you could do exactly the same, coming up and back down with your hands below the glutes. Of course, you want to progress to making sure your hands aren't in that position, but it is an option for people trying to get good at the straight leg raise. Now, let's say that doesn't work either. So let's say you've got your hands underneath your glutes, and when you come down, let's say we're coming down, and then maybe at this point, you start to feel yourself arching. Now, what I would do in that sense is if I had a client, let's say they got to a certain point and then their lower back started to arch up, I'll put something like a platform, maybe a bench in front of them, so their start point, rather than going from the floor all the way up and back down to the floor, I would make sure there's like a bench or some kind of platform so their feet start higher up and also end a little bit higher up as well. So that way you can start to slowly increase the range of motion by using a platform that's slightly lower and lower and lower until you can do it off the floor. There's a couple of regressions there as well as the exercise of straight leg raises. Hopefully there's something there for you to take away and for you to do in your training. That's how to do a straight leg raise, and you would repeat that for your desired amount of sets and repetitions.